I'll send the either I send the link once we are done so that you can download it, because I think after some days or months, feel like it's going to clear off from the cloud and from the web. Okay, today we're looking at so many things, but first,
I'm not even going again.
so we'll be looking at a lot of stuff today, but before that, let me introduce myself to you all, because I don't think I'm familiar with you all. And when we start talking and you have questions, please do not to introduce yourself, your research interest, even though I have a clear picture of what you're interested in via the form, but I also like you to actually say your name.
Sorry, I want you to be acting faster. Aminat Ganiyu has been off of mute for like 10 seconds now.
Okay, so you have to write something.
I want you to be, I don't want this noise to be disrupting this. Like immediately you hear a sound, I want you to be on top of it, please.
Noted, sir. Noted, sir. Apologies.
Thank you. So I am Mary Nriagu, and I'm currently doing my PhD here at Fordham University. I'm a PhD candidate now because I just finished my comprehensive exam during the summer, which has qualified me to be a PhD candidate. So currently I teach as a teaching fellow at Fordham University, and I have also worked at the Office of Fellowship and Advising. On these scholarship issues, both within the states and outside the states, majorly for our students who are applying for scholarship outside the United States of America, both citizens and international students. That was the previous place where I worked. So I'm going to be putting in my A game in this webinar, getting to know you, talk about the things that you need to put in place, either in your application, in your visa, or what have you. And also research-wise, I do have a slide which will be for tomorrow, basically on research, because a lot of things are changing in the current the current state of the US. And going with the form that we had you filled, majority of you, 85% of the people who completed that form want to go to the US for their graduate program. And so it is important that we get a strong hold on what is at stake in the US currently and the things that we need to put in place to make our admission a success. And then also the visa. If you're following the waves of things now, you will know that, it's not easy for anybody out there. So we just have to do what we can. So that's, by the way, for introduction. The first thing we want to do today, some of the things that I highlighted that we're going to work on, we're going to be checking the school webpage, some of the schools, while we'll talk about the critical things you need to look at. STEM and non-STEM related applicants, because I see most of you are STEM related applicants. And then the CV formats, SOP versus personal statements. These two things are quite two different things. And then I think here we don't have a sample writing. I think some applications do require you to submit a sample writing. We may have to touch on that. And then after your admission, before your admission, some schools want to interview you to get to know you, to get to know your research, to get to know what you are interested in. So we're going to talk about the likelihood things that you might get to be asked or see in the course of preparing for that kind of interview. And they'll also talk about after the admission, now that you have the admission, for those of you who are going to be lucky to have several admission offers, what should I do? How should I respond to all of these things, considering the wave of things? And then we're going to conclude. We have about 49 slides. I do hope we have enough time because we have places for questions and answer for this episode. If we don't finish it here, we'll continue with it tomorrow with the research tools. For tomorrow, I really want to talk about research, how you can work your way around that for your application in case you might need it, being STEM related field. Okay, so that's, by the way. If you have any questions or clarification, we can talk about it before we move straight to what we want to talk about today. Is there anybody who has a question? You can put them in the comment section if you have a question. I can come back to it and look at it to give you, the go ahead to ask. Okay. So what are the key things you must consider before applying to a particular school? Let me ask that. I want to throw that as a question. You are all here today, and I'm sure that you're doing some little research at your own end of what you feel like you want to do. What do you think you need to consider first? What are the foremost things? I mean, let me say first 3 things you need to consider. What do you think are the first 3 things you need to consider before applying for a graduate program or before even thinking about that school? What do you think are the 3 things that you need to consider? First 3 things that you need to consider. Okay, Daniel Oladipo. Could you, yeah.
Good evening, ma'am. So I think the first thing would be like to check if they have your program, like your course at all.
Okay. Any other
Then,
person?
okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Zachary.
Yes, good evening.
Mhm.
The first thing that I'm gonna do is to first search for the school that are offering my course. That's, for instance, I'm a chemistry student. I wanted to further my studies in area of inorganic chemistry. Then I'll just have to search for the best universities in the US that offer the inorganic chemistry courses with funding the and
So
uh,
train your
and the other things. Yeah.
okay. Any other person aside from these 2 things, because the sound okay, Abodun it for me. You could go ahead.
Okay, thank you. One of the things I also check is to see if their researches align with mine. After I've confirmed they have the courses I intend to pursue. Thank you.
The research aligns with what you are interested in. Yeah, that's a good one. The last one, Olamide Ajayi.
Thank you. Mine is similar to hers, but not just that their research aligns, but that the school is known for that area that I'm going into. Because I noticed that certain schools are known for like medical, ML research, and some are known for agricultural and things like that. So I feel like if I align with what the school is focusing on, it's give me a higher chance.
Okay. Any other person with something contrary, different from what they've said? Any other
Yeah,
person? Okay.
yeah. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this opportunity. So the question you asked was, what is the first thing you actually need to consider even before checking schools? Or I think the first thing is to understand where you are coming from. What do you really have? What are your qualifications before you can even talk about saying you want to go for any postgraduate studies? What do you have? What have you studied? Is it enough for you to pursue the postgraduate studies? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the last responder, all of you did amazingly well with the question, but I would say that the first and foremost things you need to do, even before thinking about graduate school, even before thinking about that particular school, is analyzing your portfolio. What do I bring to the table? What do I have? What do I bring to the table? Now, if you know what you bring to the table, definitely then you know that, okay, this is your area. But even if you know this is an area of interest, let's assume somebody who is interested in biochemistry or med lab or what have you. And then you find out that this school has some other things that you're interested in, but not necessarily having that specific thing. You know, a school can have some overlap with what you are interested in, but they don't have that major thing, especially for those people who are in STEM, major thing that you're interested in. How do you now navigate yourself through that way? So if you have analyzed yourself, your perception, your portfolio, what you have, what you bring to the table, I bring this research interest in this particular field. I'm vast in this. I have done some couple of publications. I haven't done publication. That can also make you to be thinking about the schools. If maybe you want to go for an R1 school or you want to be considering an R2 school. What do I mean by an R1 school? R1 school are highly research schools, schools that have high research and they have a lot of funding. R2 too, they are like, when they say very, that's R1. Not very highly researched, that's R1, then highly, that one is R2. So it's not like they don't have research in R2. They do have research, but it's not like R1. So if you know that your interest is specifically tied to a lot of research, you may want to consider an R1 school if you know that is a research. considering funding in quotes, because you have to have that at the back of your mind. And then if you think that, okay, an R2 will do that for you, could you accept those people that are waiting? Some people are on the waiting room. So if you feel like, okay, I have this, but I don't necessarily feel like I belong here, then you can consider them in other aspects. So you want to consider what you bring to the table. You want to consider the program structure of the school. What does the program structure look like? We're going to take a look at some schools on their website to see how they put these things together. And how do I know that I meet the requirements? Nobody can tell you, because a lot of times people reach out to me, send me emails, chats, and they're like, how do I know I meet the requirement for this school? This school has this. Nobody, even you, the school alone is the one that can give you that response. I cannot give you that response, because whatever the school wants you to do, whatever they want you to put in your application, that's what we are going to put in your application. If the school says that they want 3.5/4 basic GPA requirement, my dear, I want you to pay attention to that. If the school says that they want an English proficiency test, I want you to pay attention to that, because you may need to write them if you feel like you have merited, or you have a qualification, or you have been taught. For those of us who are from Nigeria, I know that many of people here, we are maybe some, like 70% of us are from Nigeria on this platform. But for those of us who are not from Nigeria, and those of us who are from Nigeria who must have been taught, because sometimes they require you to get an English proficiency test result. Sometimes a magic email will do that response for you, after you must have checked the school and see, because some schools will put exceptions. So if you don't go through the school webpage very well, how would you know that this school is exempting your country? So it means that you have to do your due diligence in terms of research-wise. What can I do better, even if I don't meet the requirements? That's what comes in next. You don't meet the requirements. You don't meet the English proficiency test. You don't meet even maybe the academic what's it called, the GPA requirements. What then can you do? I think you can also write to the school. Sometimes you can write to the program coordinator. Then let me show you something about this. Let's go to one school, random. I'm going to just pick a random school. If you have a school in mind, you can put them in the charts. So I work with some schools that you have in mind. We just put it up. So if you have a school in mind, put them in the charts. I can check out your school, MIT, okay. RP, University of Florida, okay. So let's go to, sorry. So Florida, we're going to check about 2 schools. This is like a practical class for us today. So put the programs that you're interested in, that you want us to look at. I'm going to pick like 2 programs from the charts. We're working with what you have. PhD in chemistry, aerospace, biomedical, okay. So when you come to the school page, this is the school page. These are the, let me contract this. Oh my God, what did I just do? I'm sorry. Shit. Okay. I don't know what I just did now. Okay, so back to the screen. So let's look at one of the first thing you want to do once you come to the school page. Program and courses, colleges. Sometimes it is easier to navigate program and courses than colleges, because sometimes the school doesn't really put what you have in your home country. For example, you tend to have sciences in the Faculty of Science. But here in America, some science-related program like chemistry, they are always like mostly in Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. You have it like that. That's a college, just like the faculty. So sometimes I'll preferable, I like to go through the courses majorly, because that way you have the courses itemized, especially them being grouped undergraduate or undergraduate program. So let's look at this master's program. So this is their admission, this is their catalog, this is their different department, this is their graduate program. So you come here, so you have to pay attention to all of these things. Graduate major areas, graduate degrees, we can do A to Z, we can do whichever one you want to do. So that's Doctor of Education. Where's the that's Doctor of trying to see if we can get something different, but let's see this. So this, let's say this program now, the College of Agricultural Science, that's the college that inhabits plants medicine. This particular program, they take people, it's a PhD, don't forget, is a doctor of plant science, not a PhD rather. This is a doctor, it's different from PhD. Let's get that straight. So there are two different things. PhD is different from doctor of medicine. I hope that is cleared. I really want to clear that up. So this program might not be something we are interested in. Let's go for something like Doctor of Philosophy. I don't know. Want to do. So this program has like a basic of, I mean, when you are enrolled into the program, that's what they have here. Some of the things that they itemize there are the things that you need to have when you're ready in the program. But what we are trying to look for is the things that you might probably be required to do when you are trying to apply for the program. So this is not what we are interested in. I'm going to go through different routes again to see. If you can see chemistry or something. So they have Doctor of Philosophy, which is a PhD. They have Master of Science. They have requirement for these degrees are given in these graduate degrees sections of the catalog. I think we may have to go through this way. I don't know if it has to be a PA5 or, oh my God, I don't know what this is. I'll just do another school. Let me do another school. Let's see what works out. I don't want us to waste time on this. I mean, let's give you Fulham University. Let's navigate stats. So you go to find a degree. It's a different way, different thing entirely for different schools, different folks. So they have Graduate School of Science, they have Computer Science. I think their Computer Science is also funded. They have a PhD in it. So let's pay attention to what we have here on the screen. And the different information that the program tells us. Application deadlines. You check this place, this application deadline. These are things that you need to consider. How to apply now, blah, 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 blah. But first and foremost, one thing that most people tend to forget when they are going through the school page is this program highlights. And I'll tell you why this program highlights is important. The program highlights is very important because it will help you to write a better SOP. If you don't understand what the program highlight is, I bet you are unlikely going to write a good SOP. But if you understand what the program highlight is, it's going to help you to write your SOP. Now, when you come to this place, you see the admission requirement. This one is the key information you want to hold on to. What are the admission requirements that this school wants? Academic transcripts. To be eligible, you need US bachelor's degree. So you can even use this, you can come into this program with a bachelor's degree. That's one thing you can do. This is a PhD. You can come into this program. So you want to check if the school takes people, if you are allowed, because not all schools, I've seen people who have sent me emails and say, okay, Yale University accepts this, but this school does not accept you. Like I think Princeton, some courses in Princeton, you can't come through BA. You have to have a master's degree before you can do a PhD there. And most times why people go for PhD program is because PhD is usually funded. So that's one of the reasons why people go for that. Now here, they say GRE scores are required. What do you mean by required? It's mandatory. I mean, it's not optional. I want you to get that straight. If we check some other schools, the GRE scores might not be required. It might be optional. So, but when they say it's required, they can use the term recommended, which means is a must you have it, okay? It's a must that you have it. The CV, you upload it online. You're not sending it. Look at this one. You see this? 500 words, up to 500 words. Personal statement, up to. They didn't give you, they didn't say, they didn't give limits. But if you want to be on the safer side, I would say that sometimes it is, you can reach out to school, the program coordinator, to find out what is the word limits that you can write for your statement of intent, so that you won't go as far as writing up to 1,500 words. And then you will bug the admission committee and they will not be able to, because they will just read and read from the first 2 paragraphs and go to the last conclusion. By then, they're not going to even get into the more details of the things that are required of you. Supplemental essay. Some schools, like I said, sample writing. Some people have it as sample writing. This one says supplemental essay. But I would say that in this case, in the case of this school, for some supplemental essay, because it's put optional, a lot of people might not do it. But if I were to be in your shoes, I am going to do the supplemental essay. That's what I would do. That's the truth. And I'll tell you why. As in the last 1 year, I have worked with the Office of Fellowship Advising and Scholarship at Fordham University. And I could tell you that most of the things that the committee say often, even though that an essay is optional, it's not mandatory for you to have it. Like, it is always good. It's an avenue. Let me use the word my advisor and supervisor usually says it is an avenue for you to sell yourself to the school, where you are unable to sell yourself in the limit structure of the SOP. Remember that the SOP is always limited, 500, 700 words. But here, there are some things that you probably didn't have opportunity to say in your SOP. You can then do it in the supplemental essay. I don't know if that makes sense to you. And then if they say 3 recommendation letters, and you know that you have worked, you've been working, aside from those people who just left university and they're just going into school right now, that's a different ballgame entirely. But if you know there is a gap, this part is very important. You have a gap in your education career, yeah, and you've been in a professional level in the last 10 years, 5 years, 6 years, or even 4 years. I think it is more advisable and more prudent to have your supervisor write a recommendation letter for you, while you have 2 academic recommendation letters. Optional, recent publications. If you have a publication, no matter how little the publication is, even if, I don't know what your understanding of publication is, see, maximum of 8 pages, it doesn't have to be so large. If you have also even submitted something, I would say if you have a manuscript or something that you have submitted for it to a journal and it's still under, even though it's not published, you can tag its manuscript under consideration for publication. That's a way to sell yourself. And I'll tell you why you can do that. Oh, Mr. Ajishafe was out. I'll tell you why it is safe to do that. It is safe to do that because a lot of people are on the same table as you are. A lot of people are also trying to get into the program just like yourself. And many a times, many of them don't even have any publications. And some of them don't even have anything close to a manuscript. And if let's assume 5 people or 100 people apply for a particular program in that school, and none of them has a publication, and you were lucky enough to even have a manuscript under consideration, I think probably that can also go a long way to speak for you. So that is something you want to consider. So if you are not yet currently working on a publication now, I think my advice to you will be try and find a way that you can start working on that. It's not compulsory. Most schools in the US wouldn't say it's compulsory, but I think it goes a long way to help you in your program of choice and also hasten your admission journey better. When you talk about TOEFL, English proficiency here, they have test of English, international, blah, 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 TOEFL. They even take Duolingo, they take all of these things. You can always write. You can always write the school. You see, this part is very important. And I'll tell you why. Some couple of years ago, 3 years ago, I remember somebody who applied to this same for them. I did for them, of course. And I did not submit any TOEFL. I didn't even do WES evaluation. I didn't do any. I skipped all of those things because of what? Of my mode of communicating with the school. Yes. Each time I'm in a dilemma of something, I write the program coordinator. Like, you need to be coordinated. A lot of time, you need to master the art of communication, art of writing, rhetorics. You need to master that so that your points will not be seen as being rude or saucy or over exaggerated or what have you. You just hit the nail on the head and then you get interventions. I know a couple of people that applied for them and still were asked to write TOEFL or English proficiency test, yes. But I didn't do any of those. I also know people who were asked to do WES evaluation, but I didn't do WES evaluation. I didn't pay application fee to the 7 schools that I applied to. So your power of communication can save you a lot of money and it can save you exemptions. Look at what I said. You can come here, click on it, and to show you the countries that are exempted. Even if you don't find your country there and you feel like you've been taught, look at it. I've completed within the past 5 years, at least 2 years of study at an undergraduate or graduate institution in the United States or in a country where English is the official language. These are things you need to familiarize yourself with before considering to say, okay, this school fits into my schedule. After you must have done this, another trick that you want to do that I think I don't know why I have a lot of this thing opened up on my on my computer. So I think before I go to this one, I think one of the few things that you really want to work on is communication. Now, on your school search, it's not here, but I'm going to say it. Have an Excel document. Excel. You know what an Excel is? An Excel file, yes. Put it, I have a client that I'm working with currently. Put it in in a tabular form. Excel, you put the name of the school, admission requirement, deadline, links, just name it like that. And sit down. Do a research on your own as you are searching for these schools. When you get the school, the name of the school, put it there. What's the research interest that this school has? Put it there. When is the deadline of this school? Put it there. When do you intend to complete? Because you also have a timeline that you need to give to yourself. Put it there. it's a way to do a diligent job, not a rush job. You see, you can't get an admission on a silver platter if you don't do your workings. You can't get it. I'm a very blunt person and I'll tell you the truth. So you need to be diligent in all of this. And it starts from how you scavenge for information, how you get your hands on things that are very important to your admission, okay? Now, when we talk about STEM or not STEM, but before we go there, do you have any questions about that? Although I have a place for questions and response in slide 6, but I would like to take questions if you have any before we go to this one. If you have questions, put it in the chat. Let me see the chat. If you have questions, okay, spreadsheet. Thank you. Someone just said, please, if you have questions, just put it in the chat. I will look at it and then I will attend to it. If you don't have questions, then I continue. So if you're doing STEM or non-STEM, we've seen for computer science, some schools, let me check this list here, the schools that we have. I hope we're able to get our Harvard, okay, Cornell. Let me check Cornell. I'm just going to try and close some of this my slide because they are confusing me. Just give me. So let me go to Harvard and Cornell. I don't know. Princeton is also a good school. I think I have to talk about, because most times we are always big on the big schools. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the big schools. They are good. You can go to big schools, but you also have to consider some of the things that they have. Let's go to, I want to talk about research. What program are we looking at here? Somebody said Cornell. Cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a professional course. We can look at it, but most professional courses don't used to have funding. That's the truth, except at the PhD level. At the master level, you can have courses that have professional they have funding. Cybersecurity. Any other course apart from cybersecurity? Agricultural science, food science. Okay. I didn't see food science here. I didn't see food science. Immunology. Is anybody doing something related to immunology? We can check it out. If you are doing anything related to immunology or anything, just let me know, because we passed some of this. Civil engineering, biophysics. Okay, let me go back then. So we have biotechnology, we have biostatistics. Let's check this. They don't have biophysics, they have biostatistics, but let's check that for prospective students. So they have funding. Harvard Chan School offers comprehensive financial support to all doctoral students in good standing for 4 to 5 years, including tuition fees and stipend and what have you. There's something very important that research. This way I want us to look at faculty and researcher. So this part is something that most times students don't delve into this part very well. I mean, applicants generally. So if you're someone who is interested in any of this field, I won't just be carried away that because this person is doing biostatistics. In biostatistics, there is something that is of interest to you. There's a research that is of interest to you under that bracket. I mean, something that you feel like. So what you want to do naturally is to read this. This Professor Francesca Dominici is interested in biostatistic, population, and data science. It's cleared here. This one is interested in biology and environmental health science thing. So you want to check, this person is interested in, so let's admit that this is the professor, primary faculty member. what I would do if I were to be in your shoes, you see this, their CV, don't joke with it. Click on the CV, you will see it will open it. You read this person's CV. Go through this professor's CV. You will see when they finish from school. Do you see their CV format? I have a CV format too. This is how academic CV format should look like. Some people will have line, but this is the standard. I mean, they can use line to demarcate, but this is the standard academic CV should look like. So it's a sample for you when we're talking about CV also as well. So you have this, look at the area of research interest of this professor. Go through it. This professor also has a professional experience in some other things, maybe as a dean or as a management, whatever, academic, blah, blah, blah. So just check through this. Google, go to Google, put it on Google, this research interest that this professor has. Check out what it entails. You need to pay attention to the things that the professor is doing. You need, somebody said immunology. I'm sorry, I didn't know that you said immunology. I should have checked. So you need to pay attention to the research interest of this professor. Do a simple Google search of what this professor has done, the kinds of work he's done or she's done in the past. Read about it. Now, interpret it in your own way, like, what am I doing or what am I interested in? These are journal articles and they are peer-reviewed. So it's for you to just copy this thing. It's not all of them. I think you just want to scan through. There's a very good technique that you may want to use. Go through it and see, okay, what's this person? What's this? The one that interests you. You pick 1 or 2, 3. Now, how it works best is that when you search about these things, you read about it and say, okay, put a point, draft it out. This is what this professor interested in. If he's also, it has an overlap. Listen, the interest doesn't have to be 100% accurate to what you are doing. It doesn't have to be. You just need a close relationship and overlap in what you are doing. If it's 80%, I mean, it's good enough for it to be 80% of what you are interested in. What you would do is this type of thing is for you to write the professor. This is a publication. She also has her publications here. Maybe these are a major milestone that she has in her publication. You can also view it. Like, it's so easy for you to do. View it, write it. Now, if the school requires you, this is for the faculty. Now, if the school requires you to get an advisor, this is the best way you can use to get an advisor. Some program, they will put it there and say, okay, they want you to get an advisor before you can then apply for the program. If they don't write it there, it means it's not necessary. But I would say still reach out to somebody in the school, to the professor in the school, to find out what the professor is doing, if they are ready to work hand in hand with you. It gives you an edge. Why? During consideration of admission, whatever, if you are lucky enough that the professor is there while the admission procedures are taking place, or even if the professor is an ice taker in the school, they can make cases for you and say, okay, this person, I saw this person this person reached out to me. Like, it will click when they hear your name and feel like, okay, this person has once reached out to me and I think that I'm interested in this candidate, something like that. Their emails are not difficult. That time we clicked on the faculty, you will see their email if you open it. Write them an email, sensible emails. I mean, not the ones generated by ChatGPT. Is it ChatGPT you call it? Not the one generated by Chat. I don't like people who use that stuff. I'm not saying you should not use ChatGPT, but you should not be the one that will write your SOP for you. You should not be ChatGPT that will write your code emails for you. You can write those things. I mean, you can use it to rework your stuff. But don't forget, these days that schools are now scrutinizing this stuff. And once they scrutinize it, they will see it, whether it's humanly generated or not humanly generated, okay? So have that at the back of your mind. That you need to work towards that end of being independent. You can use it to restructure, but then again, don't forget that it can also be implicative in some regard. So I would just say that get somebody to help you proofread? How do I know if a professor has funding? That's one question. I'm going to talk about that. I have a question as regards the University of Alabama. I'm planning to apply during the application fee waiver week, but I noticed that their graduate school requires the application and waiver code to be submitted together. However, it also mentions that additional documents can be added later through the status, but I want to make sure I understand this correctly. Can I submit my basic application during the free week to secure the fee waiver and then upload supporting documents like transcripts, letter of recommendation, test scores, blah, blah, blah? I would answer you this way. I think if you already signed up, created an account with the school, you already started off your application, what you want to do, if the code is given to you, the code is already secured, you just need to apply it. I don't think there's a specific time that you need to apply. Okay, if you don't apply during this period, I don't know about the school. But if they have a time duration that you need to apply for those people that are giving waiver, that means you need to write to the school to ask them that if you don't submit during this time, your application will not be considered, or you can just wait till you finish your application and submit and just apply the code. Most times I know that they give code. So it's code that I know that they give. How do I know if a professor has a funding? On the school portal, like I said, if it's the professor that is funding your program, this one is the school. It's not the professor that is funding it. Most times when it's not the school funding it, that is when you will be writing to get an advisor. And if is the advisor that's going to fund it, it's going to be explicitly stated clear. But most times for PhD programs, mostly apart from master's program in STEM, that I know that sometimes it is advisor based in STEM, but in some non-STEM program that I know of, most times the departments still provide the funding and they will give you a GA-ship title or a work that you need to do in lieu in your service to them. Okay. So that's one thing. So your research experience will help you when you are navigating through the school portal. It will help you to tailor your research in terms of what you're interested in line with the professor that you want to work with. Industrial experience. What do we understand by industrial experience? Industrial experience, I know many of you did, what did they call it? Sideways. Yes, I think it's sideways they call it. Some people use the word internship for it, right? So if during your undergraduate, don't throw away the internship or sideways or what they call it that you did. Don't throw them away. Put them together in a good language in your CV. If you worked with somebody, for those that work in pharmaceutical industries and what have you, in all of those, there are things that operate in your when we talk about skill development, what kind of skill do you have? It's not just I can do Excel, I can do Microsoft, and that's not this kind of skill we're talking about. Every organization, every department, every profession has a skill that you need to hone. I know people who are in social work, they have this, what they call it, they use this research skill that they use. I forgot is it SPSS? They use in solving their data, collecting their data or what have you. So you need to find out the kind of skill that your area of research interest looks forward to. So it's not just you saying you can do Excel, Microsoft, and they are good skills. They are computer skills, but there are skills that are streamlined to a particular profession. And a simple Google search can help you. Let Google be your friend. You can type what kind of skills that somebody who is interested in immunology should have. That way you get an understanding of it. And if you think that you own that skill in your CV, you can put it up there and sketch it in a way that it can make sense to somebody, okay? Networking. A lot of time, we don't get to talk about networking. I'm going to be taking some time to look at the questions, okay? When we talk about networking, sometimes we tend to think, like what I said, when you go through the school website and search the researcher, the faculty that you're interested in their work, that's also networking you are doing. If you don't know, you're doing networking. And that's why I said that when your applications are being considered, this professor could be in the best way to talk about your interest because they are familiar with what you're saying. And when you're shooting them an email, you are also adding your CV to it. Don't just write them an email and say, I want to be in your lab, blah, 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 da, da, da. I'm going to show you sample of such emails. I have a sample like that. I'm going to bring it out. So don't just shoot an email like that. When you are writing such emails, make sure you have an already prepared CV, because you are networking. There are some things that they will not even go through in your email, but your CV will speak about those things to them. So all your application materials, including your career exploration, what you have done, we just do it. If you have been working, if you have worked with people, you might see them as something that are not serious. I keep telling people that your university days are not useless. You know those group assignments that you used to do? Do you know that you can rework them for submission as a publication if truly you did a good job? Do you know that your final year thesis can be submitted as, for a publication if you did a good job? Do you know that? My first publication was my undergraduate thesis. So you can do that as well. You don't have to have it figured out, okay? You can do that as well. So it's very important that you know that. So these are the things you want to tailor into whether you are doing STEM or non-STEM. See, these key things are very important in your career. They are a must for you to have. It's not negotiable, okay? So when we talk about the academic CV part of this discourse, we saw one here. I think I want to pull up my academic CV, maybe. Let me see. If I'm able to pull it up. I'm always updating my resume, so one of the things, all of this, I told you the other time, you can put this line, you may decide, just make sure that it's in this format that you have your CV and what have you. You put, if you have teaching experience, look at when I was applying for my PhD. I was a teacher in a local in a private high school in Nigeria. And it was basic things that I've done. I've not done anything so big. So don't look down on the things that you have done. It could sound little, but it's the way you put them together. I make sure I thematized the topics that I taught in school, because I'm sharing this with you because it could be the stage you are in your application. Definitely you're starting from scratch, just like I started from scratch too, before I came to Fordham and started working and teaching and also working with all of those things. But these are the basic things that I did that I just put up there. And it was just theme for me. And when I served, I didn't put NYC there. I served in Enugu, Federal Government College, Enugu. I didn't put it like National Youth Service. I put it as a work that I did, So you want to be diplomatic about how you yeah, it's teaching. You did it. It counts as an experience. So long, if you're going for a PhD, let me tell you the truth is that the PhD is generally geared towards you having a teaching career. That's what it's geared towards. So whether you teach nursery puppies, it's the way you come about it. The coinage is what helps you stand out. Okay? It's what gives you the leverage to stand out. And these are publications that I have done. My first publication probably was publication I made in some local magazines. You might think that it's not so important, but I have them there in my CV, even as little as it could be, before I had my major academic publication in 2021. So you can put all of these things together. You just have to. And I still have a publication that has a journal that has been accepted this year for publication. It's not here. I haven't updated that. So when you say manuscripts, see what I put in manuscripts. This was how I restructured my CV when I was doing. There were some things that I've done that I didn't publish them. Even at Fordham, some papers that I really worked on that I felt like they were very good. Maybe I submitted them for consideration. You can put them as a research in progress. Let something be there to speak about the things. Don't belittle the things that you do. Don't see them as not so important, okay? If you have attended conferences are very important. Another way is restructuring of all of these things that you have done. Put your conferences that you have attended, put them in your application. By the way, some of the conferences that I've attended so far in the US, I don't think they're in this. I don't think this is the most recent CV that I have right now, because I know I've attended like 4 conferences since I came to the US and 1 international conference. So even local, these are the ones I did in Nigeria. That's what I want you to note. These are some few things that I did in Nigeria. These are some few things that I did in Nigeria. This is not my recent CV because my work as a fellow and also as a graduate assistant, as a teaching, or as a person who work at the Office of Fellowship Advising is not here. So this is not my recent CV. Probably I'm going to pull up that one later. But I want you to look at this. These are the things I did while I was in Nigeria. Sometimes you attend events in Nigeria as an undergrad. They have seminar that you attended, some little conferences that they are something. If you can remember the dates, if you can remember, if you are sure that you attended them, let your conscience prick you that you attended it. I mean, you should find a way to put these things together and put them. You don't have to be physically. If it's virtual, look at this one. I put virtually. It's a virtual attendance. So put it there. Don't leave these things vacant. Most times I tell people they have the experience, but because they look down on themselves and feel like they don't have the experience, so they leave it, they ignore it. They feel like they don't have the experience and they leave it. No, it's not true. You have it. If there are workshops, they are different. You put them too there. If you have languages that you speak, you put them, your hobbies or what have you. So you just put them. Somebody was asking if we could do a screenshot. I may provide it for you. Put it on the comment section. Okay. So if you have anything of such that you think that are very important to your career, that they are the things that you've done and you feel like you need them to be there and you are not sure, ask questions to be sure that you need to put them. But I feel like there is nothing small, so long it's going to make sense to you academically. I feel you should put it in your writing, put it in your CV. If you are sure that you have done these things, just find a way to coin words around them and make them look competitive enough, because some of the people that you will be competing with, some of them don't even have it. Most Americans that are here, some of them have not even published anything. That's the honest truth. So I will not lie to you. Even in the PhD program, some of my colleagues have not published any paper and they are in the PhD program. But you are not the same with them. So you stand a chance if you have the enough, strong information that you're supposed to have, and then work your way around this stuff. I'm sure you're going to get it straight. I want to see some of the questions that somebody put. Hi, Mary. My question is around the need to commence some form of research with the aim of getting some publications out. How would you get back into research if you have been, that's a good question, for some time due to full-time employment and have lost touch with university? I will tell you, I'll ask this question later. I'll do this. I think when we're talking about publications. So what can you do differently? The person who asked this question, I'll ask you, are you on social media? If you say yes, good. If you're on social media, good. Are you active on LinkedIn? Are you active on Facebook? What do you do on your social platforms? Do you just go there and upload pictures and talk, or you scroll and follow people and be liking and be liking? What exactly do you do with your social media platforms? These are concrete questions that will demand my response to this. If you're on LinkedIn, there's no page limit for an academic CV. Academic CV can be as long as it's not a resume, it's different. Academic CV can be as long as it can. But for all new people, people who are fresh, maybe 4 to 5 pages. But I don't think there's anything. My advisor CV, when I asked him to give me a CV before I considered him as a committee member in my comprehensive exam, my dissertation, his CV is over 40 pages. The one we opened the other time, do you know how many pages that CV is? So there is no restrictive academic page limits. There's no restrictive page limit for an academic CV. So it can be as long as you want. But majorly, if you are starting newly, you don't want to, because you don't want to be being repetitive as a fresh graduate or somebody who hasn't done so much. I think you should be like 4 to 5 is okay if you can manage yourself around that area. But if it's about restriction, I think there's no restriction. For the person that asked me this question about, let me go back to that question, about somebody who has left an academic area for a very long time. I asked a simple question. Are you on social media? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on Facebook? What do you do on those platforms? You can actually write posts. What is on my mind? That's what they used to ask on Facebook. Write it there. You have a research who is interested in doing this. You will see people. My friend co-authored about 4 journal articles with some random people. She doesn't even know them. That's the power of social media. I don't think you know the power of what you have until you have explored them. So that's a way that you can get back into the academic field. Okay, that's a strong way you can get back into the academic field. You don't have to regret or belittle yourself and say, oh, I haven't done so much. So that's the way you can go back to touch ground on that. Okay, I'll read the next question before I. Publication does not necessarily have to be from an original research. You can write review articles. Exactly. You can even review articles. You can review textbooks. It's part of academic. It's part of work. It can take you somewhere. Okay. Where's this? Okay. I'm going to. If my research interest differs from my undergraduate thesis. Oh, I love this question. How can I email a faculty member when my major research experience is from my undergraduate thesis? Wow. How can we make the little things we do look professional? I love your question. Is this Perpetua? Can someone add teaching in the church? Now, I want to ask you, what did you teach about? Let me start from the church. What did you teach about? How does that relate? You know, it's not just about teaching. How does it relate to what you're interested in? That's another question you want to ask yourself. So you want to get clarity on that. If you're somebody who is interested in your research work, maybe you did somebody who is in STEM, maybe chemistry, or I don't know, all those agricultural, pharmacy, or what have you. You need to think about things that are in that line, because you cannot be teaching Bible and then be using it as it's not the same thing. I want you to get that clear. So let's be clear on that. It has to have an overlap in what you're interested in. Now, back to your second question. How can we make the little things we do look professional? How you make the little things do look professional is by language. Language is such a powerful tool. You need to have a command, a strong hold on language. If I listen to my white colleagues sometimes, I always say they don't know what they are saying, because they are always saying things like, but because they have strong command of the language, they can say nonsense and it will be like it's sounding well, whereas it doesn't even make sense. That's the honest truth. I'm just being sincere with you. So you need a strong command of the language the language of instruction that you use. It's very important. Now, your third question, which is the first one here. If my research interest differs from my undergraduate thesis research, how can I email a faculty member when my major research experience is from? This is a very good question. And I think one thing you can use to make it, like if you're interested, this is my honest opinion. And based on the fact that I had a friend who did something related in this line, she was interested in, I think most of the things we did then back home were things like African literature, blah, 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 da, da, da. But she was interested in disability studies. That's something different entirely. That doesn't even have a place in Nigerian education system. Now, what did she do differently? She started researching about what disability studies is, what research interests people have done, what is the gap. And then she started creating something new around that area to fit in into that professor that she's trying to target in that school. And then if you can find a way, it doesn't mean that people change. America or most first world countries, they have room for change. I will tell you the truth. People can be studying English or medicine in their first year and say they're no longer doing medicine. They want to go and study philosophy in their second year. I'm telling you, there's flexibility. So they understand that. But I think what you want to do is to prove them that you can actually do that thing. I don't know if that makes sense to Perpetua. You can actually do that thing. And how do you prove to them that you can? By doing little things. I mean, the research that you have to bring out and say, by showing, let me put it that way. Let me don't say, by showing and being analytical. So you show, you don't talk alone, you don't describe, you don't demonstrate, you show, you don't tell. And you show by giving details. And how do you show by giving details? By researching into that field that you are interested in now, that is not where you used to be, and then working things around that area and pushing it forward. There is a way someone will see what you've read and be like, oh, even this person doesn't have, but how come he has so much experience in this thing that he's talking about, even though they didn't do this thing? I don't know if that makes sense to you. So that's something you really want to work on, okay? Is it possible to change your area of interest that is not related to your undergraduate research work? And how do you convince the school? That's what I'm saying. It's showing. You have to show. I've never done it. What I'm doing currently is not what I did in Nigeria. Yeah, I did English, but not literature, but I'm doing literature in America. I mean, it's not the same thing. That's the truth. And I'm doing American literature, but whereas it was African literature we were doing. So it's way, you need to do research and find your way around it. And by finding your way around means that you need a stronghold on the language. If you don't do research, there is no way you're going to fit in. That thing that you are interested in, that you want to change into, do a research about it. If you need to take a certification course on Coursera, on Allison, whichever one, on Harvard, MIT, they have a lot of courses that you can do. On LinkedIn, LinkedIn has a lot of courses that you can do. Access those little courses and tweak yourself around those things. And I'm sure you have a new proposed field, and then you will become vast in that. What weight does peer review have in research experience? Peer review is very important. Do you know why peer review is important? Means that 2 different people or 3 different people have seen your work and agree that this work is good. Not that one journal like that. All the publications I've had in the US in the last how many years, they were peer reviewed. I didn't pay for them. In fact, I don't pay for conferences. I'm not saying you should not pay. If it's a way you can pay, but all the conferences I've attended in the last 4 years, I haven't paid for any of them. My friends do pay for journals, for the articles to be published. I don't have problems with it. But I've come to understand that the things that are more valued, it's not like those ones are not valued, but I think people pay when it's an academic journal, maybe a university. Imagine a university in India publishing your work, or imagine a university, maybe Harvard publishing your work. Do you know the weight it has compared to Francis and Taylor? All those common journals. It's not the same thing. Imagine a university in Uganda publishing your work. It's a university publishing your work. You don't pay for it. And before a university can publish your work, a university journal can publish your work, means that they've done their due. That's where the peer review, it's different. It's a group of persons reviewing what you have done and say, oh, this person is an expert in this thing, what this person is saying. And they have to admit, they have to come to conclusion that your work is fitting for publication in that area of interest. Okay, can I get professors in another department to serve as my PI if the professors in my department do not have funding? Are you going to work for that professor? Do you know what it means to have an advisor in your department that is funding you? It means that you're working. That's what you're working for the professor. I feel like my understanding of funding for those people who are being funded by your professors, you have to work for it, though. It's not free of charge. You are either doing a graduate assistantship job for the professor by grading their scores or helping them go to the classes, to attend classes with them, or doing a lab work. Okay, you have to do that. And that's what you're doing, and they are paying your fees. Okay, so I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't want to say no, but I'm not sure that you have to do that from other. I stand to be corrected, but I don't think, because if you're working, if a professor is funding you, definitely there's something you must be doing for them. It's not free of charge. There's nothing that is free in America or in whichever country. My current research and industry experience do not align with my intended results. I think I've answered this question. What you want to do, I'll go back to Google. This is where AI comes in, ChatGPT, even though it's not always correct, but it can give you heads up. This way you can prompt it. You can ask this question and be like, this is my area of, I don't know, let's even run it here now. Let me run it. Copilot. Let's run it through Copilot. We'll see what Copilot will give us. this is brainstorming. What we want to do now is brainstorm. That's why you can use these things to brainstorm and think about those, but not them writing your stuff for you. It's brainstorming. We're going to run it now. We're going to run it through Copilot. This Copilot is prescribed by my school. So it's going to give you an idea of what you can do. It says, you can absolutely submit a competitive application to graduate school in aerospace engineering, even if your current research and industry experience are different fields. Many students can pivot into new research areas, especially when they demonstrate clear motivation, which is what I've said. And why I'm showing you is that these are the things I've said, really relevant foundational knowledge and a plan for bridging the gap. Now, how do you do this? Emphasize your undergraduate aerospace projects, any coursework. So, for example, this one is very clear. Let's assume you have a particular course that you did. It may not be 2 courses. You know, it's a different thing that you did up to 30 courses in a university, and just 2 of them are something that are related to what you want to work on. You can now build on those 2 that have strong link to what you are saying, then build on them to have like to be your foundational your foundation for the course that you are interested in. Think about how this connect transferable skills. What are the transferable skills? Which is what I told you. You can do a Google search and find out the skills that are obtainable in your career. Because every profession has a skill that is expected of them. Every profession. Look at the instances. These are the things that you might need to connect together. Demonstrate an ongoing commitment, which is what I said. Certifications, I said all of this. I didn't check this before giving you this, but I know that you can build on these things by just you having to just build your career, like go to Coursera, go to Harvard online. A lot of people, if you follow the right people on LinkedIn, I'm very happy that a lot of people on LinkedIn post this stuff. The free courses in Harvard, blah, blah, blah. These are the things that you can do, and they can build your career prospect for you. Even if you want to switch to another entirely new career path, you can do that, okay? It's something that you can do. It's not a big deal. It's a big deal because it's not a big deal and it's a big deal. It's a big deal because it's something you have never done in your entire life. Like it's something you're doing newly. And so you have to devote a lot of time. And I'll tell you the truth. If you have to have sleepless nights to get these things done, I think you should have sleepless nights, because if something matters to you, you're going to give your all and all to it. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take you, but when the joy comes, you're going to be happy that you did that thing. And I think that's what I want to leave you with on this notion, because I see many of you want to pivot into a new career life or plan. You just have to look for what works for you and start building on that. This little connection is what you can do. Somebody said, I will be starting my master research in a few months' time. However, I'll be applying for PhD against my graduation next year. How do I address this in my application? Since research experience, it's not a must that research experience is required for your PhD. It's not everybody that are into the PhD program have research experience. It's not a must. But the ones that you have, how do you relate them? How do you relate them? How do you relate them? Well, I think we are on questions. How do you relate them? The ones that you have, how do you relate them? Peace, Chris, Ogechi, please, you can ask your question. So you don't keep raising your hand. You can ask your question. Chris Ogechi, if you are here, please ask your question. Why I'm
Okay, good evening. Good evening, Mary.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, of course, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. It has been a very insightful section of class. So the other time you talked about reaching out to faculty members that your interest aligns with theirs. So my own experience. So there is a faculty member that I'm very, very sure, 100% sure that our interests actually do align. So I reached out to her through code mail, but she didn't respond to me. Even when I sent a reminder, she did not respond. So I was actually surprised when the PhD program coordinator later reached out to me on his own, because I never had any contact or conversation with him before now. So he reached out to me and like, hi, through mail, hi, I'm so person, and this is my position. I got your contact from this same faculty that I reached out to that never responded. I will be more than willing or happy to answer your questions. If you don't mind, we can actually schedule a Zoom meeting. And immediately I hopped into that. So we met here, he asked questions. I told him about my research and my interest and why I think that that particular school, will be a very good place for me in terms of faculty fit and so many other things. So at the end of the day, he told me that he believed that, or he thinks that the school will be a good place for my program and for my interest, that I should go ahead and apply. But then after my meeting with him, I sent a thank you mail to the professor, the first faculty member I reached out to that never responded, thanking him that, so person, the PhD program coordinator, reached out to me, and he told me that he got my contact, through her.
Wow.
She did not still respond.
I want to say something. You see,
Okay.
what do you see? Did the thing work in your favor? Yes. But she
Okay.
probably did not respond to you directly. But did she allow she could be one of those professors that don't like to have relationship with prospective students. It's possible. That's the truth. It's possible she doesn't like to maybe get in fluency contacts with prospective until they arrive on campus or until they are probably admitted. Or the school, I don't know their school policy. Some schools don't also, like I said, it's not all program that require you. If your program require you to get an advisor, I think the professor should be able to reply you. That's one thing I want to say. But if your program does not really require, in that school, don't forget, we're talking about this school, based the program you are interested in that specific school. If the program you're interested in that specific does not clearly state that, you need to apply, you need to get an advisor, somebody in hand to work with before you go to the program. If the professor does not respond to you, he's not to be blamed or anything. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But if the program states that you need an advisor, the professor is supposed to reply to you directly. But now she didn't even reply to you directly, but it means that she read your email. And probably she's also fascinated in what you are doing. That's the honest truth. For her to go and tell another professor that, look at what this person is doing. And I think this person may be a good fit in our school. I don't know if you get it. I have a case like that, someone that I'm currently working with. She's been having a positive response to all the people that she's been writing, all the professors she's been writing emails to. I think she's doing biochemistry. I don't know the kind chemistry and biochemistry. There was something, related in that field. That's what she's interested in. She's been all the professors she's been writing code emails. She's been getting feedback. And I also have a case of someone who's been writing. My friend told me the friend has been writing emails and they don't even have a response. In the case of this lady that I mentioned, she wrote, the professor is not even interested in her field, but the professor copied another professor in the email and telling the professor that this person has interest in what you're doing, but does not fit. I don't know if you understand. So there are different people. There are people, but I don't think it should bug you. I think what you can do right now is to prepare for this phase of your journey.
Because the
program. I wouldn't say you should stop reaching out to him or her. I wouldn't say you should stop, because it shows that she reads your email and she acknowledges, just that maybe she doesn't have time or she's not in the habit of communicating with people that are prospective students. That's what I would say. So, but I won't say you should stop. If you need to, you can write. One day, maybe it's finally going to respond.
Okay, because I think the PhD program coordinator said I should go ahead and apply and I should keep him updated.
That one is a very positive thing. Apply. Make sure you have a good structure, good application. Don't forget to dwell on the school. Like, sleep on the school webpage. And I'll tell you, I'm keep saying it because people just write SOP, write CB. Tailor these things based on what you see on the school program structure, on what they want the applicant. That is what is going to make you unique. That is what is going to make you unique and be different from other people. So I'm going to show you a sample of oh, I keep writing code email. So I'm going to show you a sample of code email that I created myself. I give to people to rework and put their structures, I mean, their words into it, the kinds of programs that they do. First and foremost, you don't know this person, so you need a good salutation. You need salutation. Dear professor, their last name, not their first name. A lot of time, we don't know how to address people. You don't address people with their first name. I can't say, dear Professor Mary, that's not it. Even now that I teach students, you have to address me by my last name. That's formal. So, dear Professor Alengat, it gives me great pleasure to write you. You can change it to another thing you want, another word. Just make sure there is a greeting, there is something going on. I am introduce yourself. What this paragraph should be doing is the introduction of yourself. Listen, pay attention. Introduction of yourself, introduction of your research interests, and in relation with what that person is doing. Now read. I am da. My areas of research expertise are blah, blah, blah. In a bid to start my graduate school application in the next academic cycle and in the course of my research with profound and proficient professor in my desired field or in my desired research interest, you mentioned that research interest. I recently saw your research paper titled blah, blah, blah. Do you know what when we started this class, when we started this, I went to show you that particular professor from Harvard that we pulled out a CV and we saw the researches that he had. That is one of the advantage of doing that. If you didn't do a simple research of knowing who the professor is and the research work that stood out to you, please, how is your code email going to be responsive to? I mean, how is it going to pay? How is it going to pay off? Let me use the word pay off. How is it going to pay off to you? If you don't have an idea of what the person is doing, you are just writing them code. You need to have an idea of the kind of works that your professor, your intended supervisor do. You need to have an idea. What kind of work do they do? To my surprise, your research has a strong overlaps with my recently published article or undergraduate thesis titled blah, blah, blah. You can say, you see, it may not be published. That's why I say, oh, but you can't put the two. Don't forget, you can't put the two. You can use one of them. Note that if you have a published work that has strong overlap in it, you can put. If you have a strong undergraduate thesis that you wrote probably that has overlap, you can put. Even if it doesn't have, don't ignore that part and just say something. Maybe is a new research interest that you're interested in that has an overlap in what he's doing. You can start off like that. Your research, which examines. You can use the word exam, you can use underscores in the medical field while emphasizing blah, blah, blah is very important to young researchers like myself, whose research interests foreshadow the pertinent and current health challenges in my immediate community. I don't know what the research, this is just, I'm not into medicine, don't forget, but this is just an imaginative created SOP code email that I just figured out. So this first paragraph introduces you and introduces the work of the professor and yourself. The second one talks deep. The second paragraph goes into deeper understanding of what the professor's research is and how his research is of great importance to you as a person or a great importance to your work that you are interested in. And the positive outcome of his research. The third paragraph, I talk about my own personal work. What did I do? What did my work entail? What were the problems that my work solved? What were the solutions? What were the hypotheses? Something like that. And you need to bring up solutions that you don't just create work in vacuum. When you're doing research, is it that your research is solving a problem that has been in existence before, or your research is a continuity of something that has that is known, or a problem that is known, like you're also contributing to it. There is no research work that is created in vacuum. Nah. There's none. So you want to talk about what's your work. If you did that research with someone, or you did it with a colleague of yours or with a friend of yours, you want to talk about it. How this, if you did it individually, you also want to elaborate on that. The fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth paragraph, professor, you mentioned the professor's last name. After reading through your earliest research published in you know what do you think this thing is creating the professor? I want to ask a simple question. What do you think this is creating the professor? For someone to be telling the person, this is your work published in so. What do you think is going to create in the professor? What kind of attention do you think is going to generate in the professor will be, because you'll be like, this person knows my work. I don't even need to start telling this person about what I do. The next paragraph, you now state what you're doing. You want to apply to it. In this regard, or as a part of this, I'm interested in applying to your lab to work with you. And I think we crafted this code email then was because there was one, I think it was University of Texas. They've practically stated there that you need to write to get us so you have to apply to the lab. Yes, it's clearly stated there in that University of Texas. I think you have to apply to the lab of a professor before you can start your application, and the professor has to accept you into their lab. And one of the reasons why I created this code email. Then you go ahead to thank them for whatever. I always say, put your email there, put your name and the university, that maybe your university of blah, 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 and they put email and then end it. It's good. It's professional. It's formal. One thing you can also do in your setting of your email, you can go to your email setting. There's a place you can set. I don't know. There's no time for that today. If you go to your email setting, you can set up your complimentary end of your of sending emails. So it's just there. You don't have to start writing or typing them. Signature, thank you. You can create it, email signature, thank you. You can create it there. Okay, it's very good. That means you are already overseeing, you are seeing yourself in that profession, like you are seeing yourself as a professional. If you have a question, I think Musa has a question. Let's hear Musa. What's your question?
Yeah, thank you so much. My first question is, I've been writing code mails and I used to get response, but the response most times is no funding, or we have so many students and they need to pick those that their research interest aligns more with theirs. Okay, so my regarding thesis is quite different from what I have interest in. I understand. So my first question is, publication, is it a must? Like, must we have 1 or 2 publications, or we can just include our undergraduate thesis topic, or maybe post our write-ups? Then only this GRE of a thing, is it compulsory we have to have GRE? Because most of these people are always requesting for GRE. Then thirdly, I had a professor that responded to me positively. She gave a task. Like when I sent her the mail, she responded. She said she's interested in, like, she likes what I said. Then she sent me a task. She said I should submit in 10 days. So I did heaven and earth. I submitted. So, but when I would get a response back, she said that due to the volume of those that responded, she's sorry she cannot pick me. So my question is, I was feeling that, do you know any format that they usually use to submit? Like maybe they give it out, because I think the way we study here in Nigeria is different from what they do there.
You're right. That one is
likewise the writing process. Like, for example, now my undergraduate thesis, I built an automated stapling machine that staples sheets itself. But I have interest in autonomous vehicles, robotics. Like, it's quite different a bit. So anytime I send code emails to these guys, I don't know if they're looking at the topic as, what's this guy doing? He's doing something behind.
That's the thing. That's one thing I want to say too.
I can't hear you.
Probably they have
I
advanced.
can't
Not,
hear.
they have advanced from that.
Yeah.
You know
So I
that
was
we
thinking
are
of
a third country. What I will advise you, this
yeah,
one coming to my mind. What I will tell you is that don't look for a gap. Look for a gap in that school, like in that professor. Look for a gap in some of the faculty members. Look for a gap. Read their work and see if you can fill a gap that their research has already, a loophole in their research interest. I don't know if you
okay.
understand. For example, let me give you an instance. For example, somebody did a research on how malaria can be cured by using maybe chloroquine or blah blah blah. And then when you were reading that person's article, you now discover that even though this person is saying malaria can cure the chloroquine can cure malaria, but it did not say if it's 100%. And then in that reading, you discover that there is something that the person mentioned that you feel like is not clearly listed, because most times when you read research articles, journal-related articles, these researchers or these professors, they always put in the gap there that their research were unable to cover. So another person can cover it. So it can be something, and they're also interested in that particular field. So it can be something that you will now pick up from their own research interest. It can be tough, but I'll tell you the truth. Most people who get into the graduate school program in America don't end up doing what they were recruited for. Nobody's going to force you. I'm telling you the honest truth. If you're doing a PhD, the first and most important thing is for you to get into the program. If you get into the program, nobody's going to chase you away. Facts. Even if you do not do that thing that you're supposed to do. I mean, the thing that they can't chase you away. Because it is assumed that once you are doing a coursework, over time, your interest can change based on the courseworks that you have been exposed to here. So you can decide not to go that way again. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So I would say that look for a gap in some of the professors' work based on their faculty or on the school website or in their CV or in the work that they've done that you have read and felt there is a gap there. It can be tedious, but that may be what you want to do, because that way it means that you are doing something specifically related to what that person is doing. Because now, in all honesty, funding is being cut short in the US. If you have been following the waves of things in the US, it's crazy. It's the truth.
Yeah.
The man on seats has cut funding for education sectors. There are no grants. If they're giving them 100 before, maybe they're giving them 80 or 50 thereabout. So it's affecting the intake of, and in fact, right now, there are not so many international students this year in the US. There are not so many. For example, in my department, we don't have any international student in my department.
Wow.
Everybody that was admitted this year, I intentionally went to school for that orientation in my department to see the number of people that they admitted. They admitted like 4 or 5 people, but they are all living in the US already.
Wow.
They are not even international students. Probably people of color, maybe they're from Colombia, New Jersey, thereabouts, Texas. That's where they are from. And one person is from the UK. Is a white person. It's European. So it's the waves of things. Things are happening. And I know people that also have funding from Georgia Southern. They went for the interview. They still didn't grant them the interview. We're still going to go to that end. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you can actually go and look for a gap. That's the message you should pick away. Go and look for a gap. Because I said something initially. I said, I feel like they've already explored, they're already advanced. This is an advanced country. There's some things that you might do in Nigeria that is obtained, like Nigeria is not advanced to that end. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the research is still very, very, very high opening. Do you get it? Is it something extraordinary? Yes, it is. But is it extraordinary for the American society? I don't know. That's another question you want to answer. So you keeping an eye on that particular or those particular professors that you're interested in and seeing what they do. Sometimes there are openings, some professors bring out their opening. Language, like you said, let me go back to one of the things you mentioned, is you are not the only one you are not alone. Myself, I'm also there. My friend that is also doing a program in Atlanta, she also complains. In fact, so it's common because we were not taught in the same way. Our program, our curriculum is not the same. The structure is different. Even there are particular language terms that they want you to use. That I said that if you can have a strong hold on language, you will buy their hearts. Even if what you're saying is not making sense. But I think language, they buy language more.
Yeah.
Yeah, they buy language more. So one thing you may want to do also, you can use co-pilots to restructure, to prompt you to do these things for you. But make sure it's not writing the thing for you. That's one I'm against. Like, it can help you brainstorm. It can help you create ideas that you already have, because you are giving in those details. Like, okay, I have this thing in mind. What do you think? It will give you, then when you visualize it, you will type and write. But if you feel like your language is not strong enough, then it's only then you can use it to restructure your. That way, it's not supplying the content for you. There are two different things. It's not supplying the content for you. It's only helping you to fine-tune your language. It's not supplying the content for you. So that's something you want to leverage on. You can also use Grammarly for language suggestions. It's going to help you. Because honestly, language is something we're dealing with. It's not just you. You are not alone in this, okay? That's what I want you to know.
So like the writing process for a report, because I was thinking, since my research into my undergraduate thesis is quite different, maybe I should do a research in Nigeria, Lagos State, for example. I have interest in transport systems, so maybe do a research on how you can bridge the gap of accident on the street and write, then publish. So my question is, our writing process in Nigeria, is it quite different from the way they write? You know, in Nigeria, you have to do introduction, literature review.
It's different. They don't do literature review. They don't used to do literature review. They
So
used
do you
to
have
pack everything. I think, let me check. Let me see if I have the. Let me see. Do I have my sample writings here? Or more my.
It's very competitive, and they would need somebody who knows how to write or has hands-on experience, something like that.
Okay, so where is this? One of these books that I sent out for publication. Here's my qualifying paper. Do you see? This is my qualifying paper. Did you see? There's nothing like that. Like, they don't, you just write. But this is Chicago style of writing. Like, you can't see where you write methodology, all those things, that kind of.
It's not there.
They don't. When I came to America, I struggled. So when you said these things, I knew, like, I struggled. The first paper I wrote, if I bring it, the man said that why am I writing like this? That's what he told me. I did this thing you said, like, introduction, methodology, literature review, and analysis, something like that.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying, right? So that's what I did. But when my final result came out, the comment he had was like, I mean, why am I writing like this? And it's not just him. When I took a course in scholarship, in issues in scholarship, some of my colleagues peer-reviewed my work, and that was the same comments they were making. So it looks like they don't write like that. They do jumbo, as in they just put everything, smashed in. So when I discovered this is what they do. Another place you can find these things, let me take you, go to Purdue. This is another place you can find the sample of their paper format or writing. Purdue. Yeah, thank God I just remembered. Go to Purdue. Let me bring, I think Purdue should have a sample paper here.
Okay.
So if you want to, this is very important for everybody. If you have a sample writing or paper, this is a best bet where you can come. You have APA, MLA, Chicago, different types of styling writing is here. So you can take your time, because this is the American recognized whatever that they use. I mean, accepted format that they use. So it could be something you want to take time to. Where's that thing I want to bring up? Do you see what I was saying?
Yeah.
So it's something that you want to, you can't see them put methodology or all of this. They just, the key themes, they just put it in this one. This is MLA formatting style in terms of writing. So if you're going to produce a sample writing, I think you may want to take your time to go through all of this, depending on the kind of writing citation format that your department wants. So
Like, yes.
yes, accept. So it's a little research that you want to do. Thank God you brought this up. If you go to APA, I know people who use APA are majorly people in social sciences. That I'm aware of. I know people use APA in social sciences. So if you look at the sample, where is the sample paper of? They should have a sample. So it is good that you brought this up. So this is APA. Can you see what they do? Oh, I don't think people can see it. Let me, how do I even? I don't want to download. Let me download it then. This was supposed to be tomorrow for research, but we brought it up. Let's look at it. So see what they have here. This is APA, but this is APA. So it depends on the, what is it called?
Who uses it?
Yeah, the styling. So this is APA, which is social science. So you want to find out the kind of this thing that is acceptable in your own area of research interest. But you can't find methodology here as well too, anyways. They probably put everything together. There's social science. So you want to find out, if you check Chicago, it's definitely going to be different from MLA. So find out the kind of stuff that your department accepts. That's another thing. So it's for everybody. Everybody should find out what kind of paper formatting style that their department. I'll put the link of this. I will, just so people can access it. Because it's a different to put a link. Sometimes you can't access it from Nigeria. I don't know. But sometimes I just feel like this is Chicago. Chicago is what I use for that paper. It's the one I use footnotes. This is Chicago. Chicago is more like freestyle. So you have to find out what kind of, I'll put it there and find out, it may not be this, find out from your school. I mean, check their webpage. You can even do a simple search on that school. You say, maybe this is Harvard. You can do citation format style, because I know Harvard is also big on that. Citation format or style. That's another way you can do. It should be able to give you some. So it should be able to give you some things. Maybe you can just take, there are 3 result match. I don't know. So you just have to search. You can go through the school webpage and just find out if it works for you that way. So that can help you solve the problem of style. Because your last question about language is crucial, and I don't think you are alone, like I said. Just find your way around it, but create your work naturally yourself. That will help you to be better. Any other question before we move to factors?
Is publication compulsory? Must we have a published paper?
It's not except the school states it. Like you said, you saw when we went, I don't know if you were here when we talk about Fordham. Those that were here when I showed you Fordham. Fordham University said publications are optional. So some schools can say they're optional, some schools. But I would say that even if they say they're optional, it could be optional, but sometimes it can give you an edge, even though it's optional. I don't know if you get, but definitely I feel like they're not going to use it to, if they say it's optional, they are probably not going to use it like mandatorily to consider you for admission.
But if they see people that have it, they'll pick them.
But I don't think it will be like that too. It can be, or you may be right too, but I feel like if they say it's optional, that is if you don't have what, if you, let's say example, you have what they are looking for and you don't have publication, I think they will consider you. It's only when nobody has what they're looking for and somebody now has publication and they will say, okay, let's give this person. I don't know if that makes sense to you. If there are 5 people and you among the 5 people, your academic, your research interest and everything is very lit, and other people, they have publication, but their research interest and everything is not lit, do you think they will consider them? No. there will be a priority, there will be a scale of preference in what are the things, basic things they first want to look at to consider someone. And I think the basic priorities are the one they will first use to consider you.
Thank you so much.
Zachary, you're welcome. Please ask your questions.
Yes, speaking of the journal publication, for instance, what if the publication that I have is not aligned with that the research interest that I have for that particular school, for instance, when applying for the university? So do you think it's a good choice to make use of that journal? I don't know.
I would say that if they say publication, they did not say that let's go to that. I don't know if Fordham states it has to be in your research interest. If they don't say it has to be in your research interest, I think you can just put it up that you have a publication. I don't think it's anything bad. It's not going to harm anything, so long it's not compulsory.
Okay.
Yeah, so long it's not compulsory. Highlighted. For me, when I was doing my sample writing, one of the sample writings that they required me is the sample writing I submitted is not my research interest. I submitted a sample writing on language and power, but I'm working on trauma and epigenetics. So it's not the same. I don't know if you get. So is totally different. And what I proposed in my SOP was race, immigration. So I mean, is crazy, but that's what it is. So I just feel like you can, if they say it's not compulsory, I would say that it's better if you have publication, put it, I mean, show off with it that you have it. That's what I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Show off with it. Any other question? I don't think so. So, factors to consider when you're writing your CV. The major factor I think that you need to consider when you're writing your CV is, one, what program are you applying for? If you are able to answer that question, then you will know that you need to tailor your CV to the program. Not just like somebody asked me a question about teaching the other time. I said, no, you can't be teaching Bible in the church and you go and use it in your CV for an academic thing that is not related to Bible. But somebody that is doing theology, philosophy in theology, doctor of philosophy, not doctor of philosophy in Nana, doctor of philosophy on its own, or doctor of philosophy in theology, or doctor of philosophy in religion, those three things. Please, if the person puts that they taught Bible or whatever, or this thing in church, will it not make sense? It will make sense because it's related to their field. It's related to them. So you need to find relations, connection to these things. So that's what you want to do. It will make sense. Quantify your achievements. How do you quantify? I wish I saw my latest CV. I don't know why it's not here because I changed the laptop and it's so horrible that I don't know the time. This one is not 2025. I've updated my CV in 2025. I'm surprised I can't find it. This is a different laptop that I'm using. So it's possibly that's why I'm not. No, that's why I'm not seeing it. This one is even 2023. That's no wonder. This is a different laptop. I don't know why I can't find it. This is not what I'm looking for. The CV I'm looking for has my recent this thing, and it's so crazy that I can't find it here. I wanted to show you the quantifying this thing. This is 2023. I think it's on my other laptop, possibly on the laptop, not on my drive. So that's why I can't find it. If I see it, I'll do a screenshot and show you that. But what I was trying to say, when it comes to quantifying your, I'm so angry at myself that I can't find this CV that I'm looking for. So annoying. Oh, remove. What I'm trying to talk about when I say quantifying, for example, if you taught students, don't just say you taught, mention the aggregate, the number, 500 in the lives, in the people that you have touched. I mean, the lives that you have touched. Maybe you have taught 5 class. What do they comprise? What's the range? Are they 50? Is it total of 400, 300? In the long run, do you get? So you want to quantify your achievement. Since I worked at the Office of Fellowship and Advising, for some couple of years that I worked there, I know that I have been in contact with over more than 100 students, and out of the 100 students I've worked with, let's say about 40, some have got Fulbright scholarship and some have got the Gilman and the CLS scholarship, So these things, I quantify them. I don't just say that I've taught students that I've got scholarship. That's not it. You quantify your achievements. You leverage on that, the number, not just quantifying the number alone. I also quantify this thing. If it's the scholarship, the total scholarship, maybe it's worth $200,000. I put it there. So these are the things you want to do. Okay? You want to quantify your achievements. It's very, very important. Chronologically, start from the last dates. If you are worked, you are working 2025, start from 2025. Don't go and start from 2019 or 2017 when you start working. Start from 2025, then go back. Yeah, go back. Proofread your work, your whatever, your CV, look at it in total. If you need an extra eye to look at it, make sure you get somebody to look at it. It is. How will you quantify it? You can't quantify it. Number of people that applied for the MT scholarship, and then you single that is a scholarship. You can quantify the number. It is. It's an achievement. I said that when you call a thing, that's what it is. If you say it's not a thing, then it's not a thing for you. That's how I see life. You celebrate your little beginnings, the things that you have. Quantify them. Do you know how many people that applied across, not in Nigeria, across Africa? Do you know how many people? And then you were singled out. Go and check the statistics on the MT School. They have statistics. Work with the statistics to put it there. Work with the statistics. You need to think like, as I said, you have to be very critical. Like, some people will be looking down. You say, is it not water? It's not true. It's not just water, baby. It's not true. So you need to celebrate the things that you have, whether they are small. I don't care how small they are. You have to make them big. You elaborate them, okay? That's what you want to do. Getting an advisor, and I think we've talked about this, but I'm just going to say this again in a very different form. I've shown you how to research. Look out for your advisor. Consider their availability. Craft a strong first impression, which I showed you by showing you the code email format. That first impression is very important. It's crucial. You can't just be wanting to meet somebody and then you just write them. If I'm to meet a new advisor, I'm going to write an email. I'm going to craft my CV must be ready. My CV has to be ready because I need to attach my CV. I used to attach my CVs to this, and that's why I told some of my clients, you need to attach your CVs, put them there. Attach it, even if you write the email, because they may not have enough time to go later. Maybe when they are free, they will check the CV and go through it and say, oh, this person. When they ask you for meeting, be open. Say when it will meet you. Create an atmosphere for yourself in an organized way where you can sit appropriately in a noiseless area. Create it in a noiseless area where you can do your meeting with them. And then first impression is very important. First impression is very important. It's key. If first impression, you have to impress them and impress yourself. I wouldn't say if you want to attach your transcript, you can, but I don't think it's important. Your transcript your GPA can be on your CV, and some of the things that you did will just be there, because it's not they are not considering you for admission. What you want to show for your advisor is work and research that you have done, and your academic career, courses cannot tell that alone. I think your experience will have to tell that more. So you need a CV. You need a good CV to be attached to your code email. That's very crucial. So we move to the statement of purpose. This place is the one that is very, very, very important. There is a formula I usually tell people to use. It's not a must, you work with it, but I think it can help you. Most times people write their SOP from a place of hurt. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It works. You can write your SOP from a place of hurt. It works. Like a place of where you're coming from, all those story format is good. It's okay. I did that too. It's good. But these days, things are changing. We want to know how good you are for the field that you're interested in. Not just about story or tales. Do you understand? If you are writing a statement of purpose, let's check some schools. They do have requirements for what they want in their statement of purpose. I don't know. If you have checked any school in the long run and you've seen what's it called? Let me see if I can check my phone. No, I will not be able to share this thing. There's a file. I don't know if I send it to someone. Let me send it to my email. I'll open it. Let me bring it out. There's a file someone sent me, and I think it will benefit you. Where is Dominia? I have to send it via my email. I hope I'm able to see the link. It's an Excel format, so it's easy for me to track down schools through that one. I'm coming to command. I'm going to put it in my email, in my drafts, so I'll open it. So you can also consider some of these schools. If you're interested, you can do a screenshot of this. This is what somebody is working with, which I'm not supposed to share. Is our struggles. These are our struggles, actually. This is one of my clients' struggles. So this is what I was asking you to do: name school, program course, opens the time it closes, These are what I wanted you to do. And the programs, the PhD, they have funding. These are the things that you need to. Some things like this would help you go a long way. Like if you're ready to do your work, you do a due diligence work, okay? So where I'm going into, this is something I want to show. I want something that will just take me straight to. I don't want to start looking for something that is not missing. So some schools, we have what they want about the program, and application requirements on there. So let's go to this where they say we'll find the program requirements. Admission requirements. So GPA requirement for the graduate school. This school has this. I'm trying to see where they write their SOP. Some schools will give you what they want from their SOP. hoping I see that. Language proficiency. This is for international students. I'm scanning through. In case you see it before me, I'm trying to scan through where they put the SOP. Some schools give clarity. So you have to follow what they say about the SOP requirements. That's what I'm trying to see. If this school has something like that. In case they don't have, we can check another school. When they say program requirements, it's different from admission requirement. Program requirement is when you're already in the school. So there are two different things. So get note on that. I want to see if this school now, they have interview. You see what I was telling you? They have interview. Interviews are January and early February. They have application deadline. So each school, some other school will check that and we didn't see those things. See their AI policy, AI and application essays. They have a policy. So you need to familiarize yourself with these things. They are very important. Rackham Graduate School will require that students attest that their application essays are their own, not work of others or generative artificial intelligence. Rackham recognizes the appropriate use of AI tools for providing guidance, and which is what I was telling you. You can use it for guidance, suggestion, brainstorming, but don't let it write for you. And has therefore created a source of prospective resource for prospective students, outlining our guidance on the ethical use of. So they have a resource for their prospective student, like ethical guidelines that you can you can use it to do. So if you know that you intend to use AI, back to this, you need to spend some time on this school web page and know what their take on AI is. I'm saying this because I know that I had someone who used AI to write this thing. And when I was reading it, I knew it was AI generated. And I told her, I didn't go through to proofread to help her review the work again. I just asked her to go and rewrite the whole work. That's what I said. I said, you go and do, because I know that some schools have policies. So if you know that you intend to use AI to do your work, please spend some time on the school portal to find out what their policy on AI is. In fact, what brought me to this space is what I'm looking for, and I've not seen it. I'm trying to see if they have a particular requirement for their SOP. Some schools, I can't remember the name of this. There's a particular school that I know has a specific, I think it's Boston College. I don't know. They have a specific guideline. In fact, they have sample not just guideline. They have sample templates for how their SOP will be. So if I were you, if I'm that kind of situation, I'll probably check the sample. I'll probably check the requirements, the templates that they have for their SOP, because that would help you if they have this one, personal statement. This is what thank God I looked for this one. Sorry. So now let's look at the personal statement here. Applicants to the BEAMS program will be asked to provide 4 short personal statements. What you need to pay attention, 4 short personal statements that describe their prior experience, their passion, prior experiences. Put that in mind, not just experiences, their passion for research, their motivation for pursuing admission to graduate school, and their interest. 4. And their interest, experiences, passion, motivation, and interest in the UVA BEAMS program. These statements are essential components of the application that are designed to help the admission committee understand the applicant's preparation, motivations, and goal. Describe your previous. So this kind of thing I'm saying, template. This is templates. And they gave word limits. 5, unlike for them that said up to 500. When I did for them, I think it was 700 words I did for my department. So each school has their own. This 1, look at what they gave different word limit though for each of these things. I hope you understand what is happening here. 500 to 1,000 for this one, 300 for this one, 250 for this one, 300 for this one, 100 for this one. This is still personal statements for this particular school. So why do you not think that you can, okay, this somebody has done a research to another school, see it. Well, I'm still going to come back to the comment section. Yeah, but look at what we are saying. So you cannot just go and create a generic SOP for all your application. Guy, if you have in mind that you are going to use one SOP for 5 schools, abort the mission. Abort that mission. That mission is not good for you. You can't use, even myself, I'm speaking from my personal experience. I did 7 schools and I did 2 SOP. I was so stupid. Even 2 SOP, that's what do you know that the 2 schools that gave me funding and admission and everything, PhD, were just the 2 schools that I used the same SOP. The other school that I used, the other 5 schools, I used the same SOP. I did not get anything from them. I think it was only one school that was considering me for masters in that. But the other one, this one I did, just 700 words, was the one I used for the others. So it's not advisable for you to use one SOP for 7 schools or 5 schools or 10 schools. Guy, that's a lazy man's work. I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Have at least 4 to 3 SOPs ready for your graduate school application, depending on the number of schools that you are doing. Because it has to speak directly to that school program overview. It has to speak directly to it. So this is what you have here. You can see, so this explains to you what they want you to know, which is what I've been saying. So each school is unique. Essay prompts, they call it prompts. Even I myself as a teacher, I prompt my students. For them, I prompt them, I give them prompts. Prompt is important. So this school is able to give you prompts on what to do. So follow the prompt. Don't go and do your own. Don't go and copy the one you do for Chicago and go and put it for that school that will show. It will not work. It won't work. Now, one of us here, Grace Olagunju, says, you would provide a brief statement of purpose summarizing your academic interest, career goals and relevant background experience, example, content, research experience, research interest, reasons for getting paid, that UAB researchers, gaps or consistencies in your timeline. So that is another school on its own. That's another school. So every school is unique. Don't treat every school as the same. That's one thing I want you to learn. If you are writing an SOP, using one SOP for all schools, and you think that's what you want to do, you can't do that and you can't get good results from it. That's what I'll tell you. Can't get good results from it. Zachary.
Yes, I want to talk on this statement of purpose. There's some place here for the research interest. There's one school that I applied, the King Fahd University of Saudi Arabia. So what actually happened was, when I'm drafting the statement of purpose, after I look at the department, I look for my research interest, I find 2 professors. Then I go and look for the recent research that professor did. When I go through it, I read the research paper entirely, and I find some gaps in the research.
Yes,
Then I take note of that. I take note of that in my research interest, and I write it. I included it, and I say that's the kind of work that actually make me to feel passionate about applying for that school, because I wanted to address that gap. So as a result of that, I even they said that my admission moved into the next stage, and I even had an interview with them just 3 days ago. So I think that will help.
Yes, thank you. And this is the same thing. Who was asking me that question that time? There was someone that asked this question that we were talking about. This is the same thing I was still saying. Like, look for, like, you need to read, you need to study. I mean, that's the bone of, I mean, that's my general last word on this. Just do research on the people you're interested to work with. Do research about their work, read what they have done, read how you are coming in, what you are bringing to the table, what you are adding, the knowledge you are bringing in. It's not just you, I mean, applying. Do you know? I don't think that's the only thing you want to do. So read their work. This is what I say, contribution to the field. program alignment, career goals. Why this institution? I mean, why are you choosing it? Like Zachary just mentioned, one of the reasons he probably would be considering the school is because this professor's work has an overlap and has a gap that he is ready to fill up with. And the professor is in that school. Why wouldn't he want to be interested in that school? I mean, it's logical. So that is one of the things you want to consider while you are negotiating the boundary between your admission and not getting admitted, or between the boundary between this school and this school. So walk yourself to what is your career goal? After this PhD, after the master's you want to do, what exactly do you want to do with it? Do you want to be a professor in a renowned professor in that particular field? That's the common thing, but I think you want to find something very much more unique. That's generic. That one I just said last is very generic. So you want to find something more unique. What if it's only one prof you are interested in that school? You pitch your tent around only the prof that you're interested in that school. You pitch your tent around him. Like this I've said, tailor each program. Don't write, I've said this one, it's just been repetitive. Don't go and be bringing, you're applying to apply for chemistry. And why I'm saying this, let me say why I'm saying this. For those of you in sciences, you remember we saw, somebody said bio, what was that name that person called that we saw? We saw biostatistics. Somebody said bio something. There was something that someone was interested in that we were trying to look for the other time on the webpage, and we didn't get that particular program. All these bio related courses that have overlap, they are not totally the same, but they have overlap. So if you're preparing for an SOP, don't go and use the same SOP because they are all bio related. No, don't go and use. So create a biophysics. Thank you. Someone said biophysics and then we saw biostatistics. You should know that they have the common relations in terms of Venn diagram that they have is the bio in them, but the physics and statistics in them make them different. So you cannot use an SOP of biophysics for biostatistics because they both have bio. No, it's not possible. They're definitely going to have an overlap because of their mutual relationship that they have with biology. But they're definitely not going to have relation because of the difference that exists between physics and statistics. So that is one of the reasons why you want to tailor each of this program to each of this program to a specific SOP. What is your passion for applying to this program? One of the things that I think that works when I was working in the Office of Fellowship of Advising, one of the things that work is this. I noticed that most of these our students in America, because our students are Americans, majority of them are whites. In my school is a private school, so most of them are majority, in fact, 80% of the school population, they are whites. And when they talk, I see like one thing that interests some of my supervisors when they talk is usually one tiny little thing, that is not even something that is having weight. The thing doesn't used to have weight like that, but I think it's always very important. It has to do with something maybe from their childhood or something. They have interest in that. Can even be because maybe one of their brothers had a wound and they were able to come up, and then that's motivated them to do that. Like just something minor, not something big. I think you also want to take a look at yourself inward and see how you can bring out something meaningful out of the little things that you do or that you are interested in. What if the long-term career goal is not to be a professor, but to work? That's what I said. You didn't get the gist when I said that long-term to be a professor is the generic one. You don't have to be, that shouldn't be your long-term goal. It's not a must, you should be your long-term goal. It's not a must. So you can have a long-term goal that you want to work in the field, but what kind of field? Ask yourself. Be specific. Be specific. Who is this person? Be specific. The better the more specific you are, the better it is. You can be longing to work in a particular firm. Mention where you see yourself, or you even want to create your own whatever. Like, be specific about something. Don't be generic. It won't take you anywhere in your SOP. You need to be specific. So first thing, the first paragraph, let me go back to my template, what I used to advise people to do. First paragraph should be like a motivation or introduction. And you should have a thesis statement. What is a thesis statement? A thesis statement is that catchy word that does it for you, that kind of elaborates on what your research interest overview would be like. And it comes in the first paragraph, towards the end of the first paragraph. That is where your thesis statement is supposed to be. That is the American style of writing. And that's what I'm telling you today. The American style of writing, they always look out for thesis statements. It's not something we are used to in Nigeria. I don't know if some of you are used to, but before I came to America, I didn't know anything that has to do with thesis statements. But I discovered that it's a thing here in America, that thesis statement is a big deal. We teach it in all classrooms. It has to be there. And most times you'll find your thesis statements in the first paragraph towards the end. The last maybe 3 sentences is usually the thesis statements. The subsequent paragraph introduces maybe the works you have done or the research or your academic background that prepare you for that program you're interested in. The third paragraph, you may want to talk about the professor that you look forward to working with, the research and whatever they are doing that is in line with what you want to do. The next one, you can talk about the courses that the school offer. What courses do they do? What do you intend to gain from those courses? What do you want to do with those courses when you eventually do them? How long? What is the time frame? What is the timeline? I call it SMART: specific, measurable, reasonable, time bound. These are the things you want to incorporate in your writings. And finally, why the school? Ask yourself, why the school? Why not Texas? Why not Rice? Why Harvard? Why Yale? Why Pennsylvania? Why Philadelphia University? Why People's University? You ask yourself those questions. If you have answers to them, then you put them down in your writing. We're going to take a question here. Maybe we're going to stop here today because it's over time. I have to go and get my daughter from school. She closes at 2:30. So please let me have your questions and then we can continue with personal statement tomorrow. Hopefully, God, I have a lot to do, lab culture. Hopefully we don't get to be asking questions in the chat so that we can ask questions following my slides so that I won't go back. Okay, can I take the SOP structure? Okay, I said the first part has to do with your introduction and the motivation. That's the first paragraph. You can have like, I always say like 5 paragraphs or 6 at most, 6 paragraphs at most. First paragraph, introduction and motivation. And in that first paragraph is the most you have your thesis statement towards the end of the last paragraph. And that is what, that thesis statement should be what your research interest is woven around and the end product of it. I don't know how you're going to figure it out, but you have to think and ask yourself, what exactly is my research interest and what do I intend to achieve with it? And how is that helpful to the whatever the program you're doing? The second paragraph, talk about the research you have done, either with people, it could be also courseworks that you have done in the university and how that would help you to be a better person, to fit into the program structure. The third one, we'll talk about the professor's work that you're interested in. It's a must, I would say. And how that cuts the edges for you, for your own research interest. Oh, this is a good question. I will address it. I'll address before I leave. The fourth one, I'm going to talk about the courses that you will do. Don't just list them. I always tell people, just do 2. But make sure you dig deep into the importance, the gains, the dividends of that course. Make sure you get it deep into that. And the fifth one, why the school? Why this school? And the last one, just thanking them. Appreciation that you find the word in to consider you for the admission. What is the best way to address gaps in application essay? My question would be, how many years gap do you want to address? Is it educational gap or professional gap? What kind of gap? For example, if you are addressing an educational gap for somebody who has left school since 2015, I left school 2015. 2014, 15, thereabouts. And then I'm now going to do masters in 2025. That's 10 years gap. What have I been doing? What have I been doing since 10 years? That's the question I want to ask myself. I'm definitely not sleeping and waking up. Of course. I'm definitely doing something. If you are teaching, you are doing work, anything, fill it in with those things that you are doing. Don't ever make mistake of not filling your education gap. Or don't ever. Don't do that mistake. You have to find something that you must be, that has to fill in that gap for you. Something has to fill in that gap. I don't care how you're going to fill it, but you have to fill in the gap. The gap has to be filled with professional courses or even maybe certification related programs, short-term programs. It has to be filled up because you can't leave school 5 years and then you're not doing anything. I don't think it is advisable for you to leave that gap. You have to fill in the gap. If you have to imagine one research that you want to use to fill it in, but make sure you have something to show for it. So that's the best way you can fill your education gap. And I hope that answers your question, Grace. So any question? If there are no questions, I'm going to call it a day today. Tomorrow, hopefully, we'll talk about application fee waiver. And then, no, I've not talked about this. Personal statement and the difference between personal statement and statement of purpose. There are two different things because some schools used to require you to write both of them. So I'm going to address that tomorrow. I'm going to address that tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm going to address that tomorrow. Please, I think tomorrow. What sample are you talking about? Please. What writing sample are you talking about? Okay, Purdue. Thank you. I'll just copy the link. I thought I'd send it. I'm going to stop sharing my screen tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to meet same time and the CV format. Yes, I'm going to make sure I get that my CV back from my old computer that is here and put it up in this one. That's the most recent one, so I can show you what I'm saying. So we're going to meet same time tomorrow, and I hope this was a great time with you guys. Oh, it's posted in empty school already. Thank you, Olufemi. Thank you for coming today, and I hope this is going to be an amazing journey for you. I'm praying for you all that whatever you live, with whatever school you decide to put in, whatever country you decide to go to do this stuff, that you're going to get it. And you put in your best, you're definitely going to get the best results. And that's what we look forward to. We're going to hear testimonies, a lot of huge ones. That's going to be positive ones. And it's my prayer that whatever you do during this period of time and trying to get the right thing, because I know it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. I cannot lie to you. But I say, if you don't have to sleep, I'm going to stop recording.